The earnings season for Canadian financials seem to just be rolling along smoothly. Basically, what I've learned so far from the reporting of 4 of the 5 banks is that, you know what? The Canadian economy is actually doing pretty good. It sounds like the banking, at least for personal banking and commercial banking inside of Canada, is growing across the board. The Bank of Nova Scotia, the 3rd biggest bank in Canada, released earnings today. Earnings per share of $1.66 beat the street by a penny, and revenues of $6.89 billion. That's up 3.8% year over year. Now, on top of just some decent numbers, they have double-digit growth in domestic and international, personal, and commercial banking. Double-digit growth in all of that, everywhere, not just here in Canada, but internationally, personal and commercial banking. Because you know what? The best way you're going to succeed as any type of business is to have foot traffic coming through your door. And when you're growing at a rate like this, domestically and internationally, there's people coming into your bank. What happens then? They decide to use other services maybe they never came there for to begin with. That bodes well for the growth of your company. Not to mention that when your personal and commercial international banking is up double digits and you're already Canada's biggest foreign bank, the bank with the biggest reach across the world, and that division grew 16% this quarter, the Bank of Nova Scotia is looking pretty good. No question about that. They grew at a 12% net income clip. Now, some of that in Canada, some of that was partially due to the sale of some real estate, but a lot of it was due to loan and deposit growth being up across the board. The Bank of Nova Scotia beat on earnings, had a really decent revenue that was up year over year. They're already the 3rd biggest bank here and the biggest foreign bank Canada has. This was a really good earnings call in the middle of a lot of good Canadian financial earnings calls, and I'm not shocked by that. The Canadian financials, I've been saying for a long time, are probably the best sector we have, despite the oil and gas stuff. The oil and gas stuff's great when that's going the right direction. These companies are run really strong all the time, year-round, every year, recession or otherwise. The Canadian financials hopefully are leading the direction for Canada to be pushing further and further into the big markets around the world. I'd really like to see these banks become international household names. I think they have the actual breadth to be able to do that.